Good morning and thank you for joining me in today. My name is Azinta and today I'm going to do a workshop and share about my lesson plan, which is on our little garden, that is learning through play. So before that, I want you to fill this evaluation form while I'm explaining about my workshop. So this lesson is designed for preschoolers right up to grade 3, and it focuses on exploring play, that is through plants, exploring of plants through play. And our theme is caring for our plants. And we aim to teach values like responsibility, cooperation, curiosity, and respect for nature. So over the next few minutes, we will explore the lesson plan that I created for different age groups, and we will try to do some activities together, discuss the importance of play, and we will also see how different learning resources support children's growth. So this is a hands-on session, and so I encourage you to participate and ask questions as we go along. To start, can I ask you to share one memorable outdoor play activity from your childhood that you remember? One of the play like hide and seek. We used to play hide and seek during our childhood days. What other? Can you think of any? Playing with the, maybe like playing with dolls, snake and ladders, role play, role playing with friends. Okay. Moving on to our next slide. So the next slide is on objectives and learning outcomes. So these are the overall objectives and learning outcomes of our so these are the learning outcomes. So they are overall objectives and learning outcomes for our planting workshop. Our main goal is to encourage children to explore and care for plants, and which helps them connect with nature and understand the living things. At the same time, we aim to support their developmental across multiple areas like cognitive, where they will learn about plant parts and what plants need to grow, strengthening their observation and thinking skills. Then we have physical, like they practice fine motor skills when handling seeds, soil, and tools. Socially and emotionally as well, where they learn to cooperate with their peers, they share resources, they feel pride, a sense of belonging, and responsible for nurturing living thing. We also want to give children opportunity to express what they learn in creative ways. This could include drawing and labeling of plants, acting out plant growth role play. For example, I have done a chart here where they could actually see the different parts of the plant and they will be able to label them. So what actually happens in here is that they will be engaging multiple senses and learning styles while doing these activities, and children can better learn and understand and remember the concepts while having fun in a very engaging and meaningful way. Slide 3, moving on to our slide 3, which is on the importance of play-based learning. So just a brief introduction on why play-based learning is very important. Why is very important? Because it develops curiosity in problem solving skills, it builds social emotional skills like cooperation and patience, and connect prior experiences to new learning as well. For example, in our lesson that I created, children role play a planting of seeds, they recite rhymes to remember these steps, they observe the changes in real plants. This hands-on learning allows children to experiment safely and learn from their mistakes. I would also like to share a personal experience. When I was a child, I used to play outside with my sister under the tree. So we used tuna cans, food boxes, and packages to pretend that we were cooking and running a kitchen. There were plenty of kids in the community, so we often played hide and seek as well. And at the same time, there were no gadgets, no medias at that time. So outdoor play was our main way of learning and having fun. Now I want you to think for a moment, what play-based activity could you do in your classroom or setting, and what skills could children develop through it? So let's think. Let's pause for 2 to 3 minutes and think. What play could that be? What play-based activity could you think? Yes, exactly. We have like hide and seek. There's role playing. There is drama. There's a lot that you could think of that you could do in your own setting, in your own classroom. and this could help children in physical development, cognitive development, their mental. It could help them in socially as well, where they will develop social skills with their peers, emotionally as well. Right, so there are a lot of ways in which we could do that. So briefly on values and language, the lesson which I created had 4 important values. So we teach, first of all, this will be taught in English and some local language as well, so there will be code switching when needed. For example, I'll be using big books. For example, one of my big book is Seed to Plant, so I'll explain words like sprout and leaf in both languages that children understand. Songs and rhymes will also help the children to remember the steps, such as plant a seed, water it well, watch it grow, can you tell? So all these things will actually encourage them to learn certain values as well. So there are 4 values. We have responsibility, where the children will care for their plants daily. Cooperation, where children will share their tools and work together in groups. Curiosity, they will ask questions like what happens if we forget to water. And they will also respect for nature, where they will learn to take care of living things as well. Okay, and learning resources that I have used, I've actually used variety of resources for each age groups. I have not done any repetition. For different age groups there are different resources. There is big books which will help children understand plant growth through pictures, so big books for all different age groups. I have picture cards for different age groups to support their vocabulary. There are rhymes, song charts to engage children and reinforce memory. Then there are hands-on materials like soil, seeds, pebbles, leaves. We have sticks and recycled containers as well. And then there's outdoor space for observation and planting as well. So these resources will actually allow the children to use all their senses, so they can touch the soil, they can smell the leaves, they can see the seeds sprouting, and they could hear the songs about plants. So I would like to ask, which of these resources would you use in your classroom or setting, and why? For me, I would use all of them, because I believe the children learn differently. So I would use all of them, because some children, they learn best through hands-on, some learn best by doing, some learn best by seeing, some learn best by hearing. So when I engage all of this, it will suit the individual child's learning style. So I would basically use all of this. So do you have any idea, can you share with me what you would use? Yeah, yeah, outdoor, that's a very great one, because especially for children who are at younger classes, like from preschool right up to year 3, they are more engaged in doing outdoor activities. So this will actually, boost their confidence as well. Moving on to the next slide, which is the success criteria that I have used by grade. So earlier on we looked at the overall objectives. So now let's focus on the success criteria, which show what children at each grade and level are expected to achieve by the end of the lesson. So these criteria are linked to age appropriate standards and help to see how learning develops over time. So for preschoolers, children are mainly in here exploring and observing, right? So they might touch the soil, handle the seeds, examine leaves, and they will also learn to name at least 3 types at least one plant or leaf. And this stage is all about curiosity and sensory experiences, because children at this age, they are still exploring, they are still observing. For kindergarten, children will begin to take a more active role, and they can plant seeds with the guidance and start explaining the basic needs of plants, like the basic needs are sunlight, water, soil, and all that. Moving on to grade 1, our children are ready for more responsibility when they are in grade 1, so they can plant and label their plants, make simple records of growing, and start noticing changes over time. For grade 2, the focus shifts towards observation and comparison. They can plant and label their plants, making simple records of growth, and start noticing changes over time. For grade 2, the focus shifts to and it's more about developing both scientific thinking and teamwork. Grade 3 children will engage in detailed observation and also reflection. So So they can describe what plants need to survive. They will maintain a journal of their plants growth and present their findings to the class as well, which will integrate communication, analysis, and creativity. So this progress shows how our activities scaffold our learning, moving from simple sensory exploration to a more independent investigation, recording and communication with the while keeping it hands-on and play-based. Okay. And so before that, yes, just some of the learning activities that I would want to show for each age group. For example, preschoolers. So for preschoolers, learning is very hands-on and play-based, right? So I will start with rhyme and a short discussion about seeds and plants. Children will then explore seeds, soil through touch, smell, planting activities depending on their abilities. Some might need help while others can sort or plant seeds independently, right? So at the end, they can do creative tasks like drawing or sticking leaves. And for homework, they can observe a plant at home and bring a small leaf or photo to share. This will build the link between home and school. Moving on to kindergarten, children are ready to label. They will measure and compare. We begin with a rhyme and then we'll ask, why do plants need to grow? Their answer guide the lesson. So in groups, they will plant seed, they will water it carefully, and some will even predict what will happen next. So each child also draws and labels of plants. At home, they continue observations and they will report it back to class. So this will encourage responsibility and strengthen their observation skills. Okay. For grade 1, they will write short sentences. They will also engage in sequencing steps, numeracy, measuring. They will plant life cycles. They will learn about plant life cycles. They will make predictions. Then they will also draw the different stages of it. It will involve group observations, sharing, and for homework, they will observe a plant at home. They will record its growth. And similar with grade 2 and 3, children will think critically about survival factors. They not only plant about but also measure, compare, and record detailed observations using charts or journals. So advanced learners can predict how plants will grow under different conditions and present their findings to the class. Homework extends this inquiry, encouraging children to note what helps or hinders a plant growth. So this stage actually strengthens scientific thinking, collaboration, and communication. For the assessment, I'll use both formative and summative methods. Formative assessments will happen during the activity where I will observe, ask questions, and will give feedbacks. And summative assessments will happen towards the end where the students will present what they have learned and the teacher checks if they achieve the learning outcomes. So for the preschools, the assessments will be very simple. Children will show their seed, they will touch the soil, and they will share their experiences. Teacher will look for whether they can name a plant or a leaf. For kindergarten, children will explain that plant needs sunlight, water, soil, and they will show in drawings and in the labelings. For grade 1, I will extend reflection by asking, how can you use knowledge to grow plant at home? Children may write or draw short notes, which shows me if they can apply learning in real life as well. For grade 2, students will reflect by sharing journal entries or drawings, and I will also ask them, how does this help you care for the environment? Here, I will reflect on whether they use observations and recording skills effectively. For grade 3, reflection will be a bit deeper when compared to other grades. So I will ask, how can your knowledge of plant growth help your environment, even or even others? They may discuss the survival factors or environment care. For me as the teacher, I reflect on whether I effectively assess critical thinking and how to improve my lesson planting for the future. And yes, so for the interactive part now, so let's do some okay, so activity time. So for an activity, I want you, when you go home, to plant a seed, or you can design a mini lesson idea. You can walk with the children at home and you can plant a seed, right? And then, or if you can't plant, just design a mini lesson idea. So since this is a workshop, if materials are available, we can do it. But for the activity, now it's our turn to get hands-on, since this is a workshop. So I want you to do at home. So if you have material available, you can take a small cup, put a bit of soil and a seed. So you will plant your own seed and think about how you could turn these simple experiences into learning opportunity for your young children. So as you plant, think about what you might say to your children. Questions like, why do you think the seed needs to grow, or how can we take care of plants? If materials are not okay, if not available, it's okay. You can instead work with pairs or small groups at home and design a mini lesson idea using one of the resources that we have discussed earlier. Perhaps a big book, song-gram, or a role-play activity, or a storytelling idea linked to planting or healthy living. Your goal is to design an activity that would help children learn something meaningful, whether it's about growth, caring for the environment, teamwork, or healthy living. So you can do that at home. So let's now discuss what we have done so far. So what could you adapt from this activity? So what do you think could be one of the thing that you want to adapt from this activity? For example, when you are doing mini planting at home, you might want to use like recycled materials. You can use recycled containers, recycled materials, and there might be some challenges that you can face, but it's always better that we use those materials that are available at home. So maybe share lessons there. So you can allow the children to be more sensory, like touching soil, pouring water, observing. For elder children, they could add measurement, record growth, or write simple observations. And there might be some of the challenges as well, like maybe limited spaces, lack of resources, time constraint, or perhaps children might lose interest if they don't see results quickly. Right? So this discussion is great time to ask any questions you might have about what we covered today. Any questions? Okay. So to conclude, just some key takeaways that we can come up from this presentation. Planting activities build science, literacy, maths, and social emotional skills. Hands-on play-based learning makes concepts meaningful. And as we come to our end of our session, let's take a moment to reflect on our key learnings from today that I have discussed earlier. So through something as simple as planting a seed, we can nurture so many areas of child's development. For the science part, they could observe the changes, understand the growth, and learn about nature. For the literacy, they can use the new vocab like seed, sprout, sunlight. For the maths, they could count the seed, measure, compare sizes. For social emotional, they could learn about patience, responsibility, and care for living things. So today's workshop reminds us that children learn best when they do, not when they are told. Hands-on and play-based learning connects ideas to real-life experiences and keeps curiosity alive. I hope you'll take these ideas back to your classroom or even home and adapt them to suit your learners. Remember, the goal is not to be perfect. It's about participation, exploration, and joy in learning. So thank you all so much for being so active, and your active involvement and enthusiasm today. So together we can help children grow, not just plants, but curiosity, kindness, and lifelong learning. So thank you.